So tell me a little bit about the band. So how did the band actually come to be?
I started the project as just a recording project, and I'm showing it to some friends, and people were like, hey, you really need to make this into a real thing and make it into a real band. Mm-hmm. So found some other friends like Amy and our other band members, Lee Williams, Joe Aguilar, and now a new band member, Kevin Bodley. And we got together, started playing the songs that were recorded, and started booking some shows, and it just kind of worked out. More and more people started coming to shows, and eventually we signed to Surf Dog Records and recorded a record officially with them, and now it's going to be out here.
On the 25th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In like a month it's going to be out here. So.
I hear you've had a few famous people in the same studio as you were recording.
Yeah.
Do you have any anecdotes?
Yeah, well, when we were tracking the album, Red Hot Chili Peppers were recording in the room next to us. We were at an East-West studio for a couple weeks, and it was pretty wild because I'm in there playing a piano. We had no idea they were going to be there. And I'm in one room playing a piano, and I hear a guitar player talking to somebody being like, oh, that piano sounds amazing, and you know, that's the same one that's the one that Sinatra used to record My Way. And I was just like, look around, and I'm like, who's this guy talking about me right now? Like, I look at myself, I'm like, whoa, that's Flea. Like, that's crazy. And
yeah,
so much.
Yeah, thank you.
No, it was wild. When we pulled into a spot that said it was reserved for Rick Rubin.
Okay.
And we were like, oh, Rick Rubin must have recorded here, like, 4 months ago, and they left the sign up because they want to still feel like, feel special that Rick Rubin was here. And then, of course, we pull into the spot, and like behind us, we see this old Mercedes-Benz pulls up and you just see the beard and the glasses and the rearview mirror. You're like, oh my god, that is Rick Rubin, and we just totally jacked his fucking spot.
As you would, obviously.
Yeah.
So tell me about the people you worked with in the studio. How's that experience been for you?
Tom Biller, he's really a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a good friend now. I don't get to talk to him as much because I don't live in LA, which is where he's at. But he was a big help to everything.
Oh yeah. He, I moved to LA recently pretty much because of him, and he would, while we were working on the record, take me out and show me the counterculture that was going on in Los Angeles, which I had no idea existed. I always thought all of LA was that kind of tawdry, Hollywood.
Want to be an actor?
Yeah, exactly. And so I just
synthetic.
was very turned off by it. It seemed very superficial and very plasticized, and it wasn't anything I was really into. But then when we were working on the record, we did record a lot of it in Hollywood, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers stuff, but most of it was actually recorded out on the east side of the city, where there's a huge burgeoning art scene happening. And being exposed to that, I just immediately fell in love with it, just meeting so many like-minded musicians and really driven artists that were making great art. That's the other thing is people that are doing it are actually doing a really good job at it. There's beautiful murals everywhere, and there's amazing shows every single night. Like any night you can go out and you'll find a great show, and it usually will be free, or if not, really cheap. And I moved there about a year ago, and
I'm not gonna look back now.
Not looking back. No, I have no intentions of moving back.
So how is the scene over there? Is there like a specific type of music, or is there a few genres?
There's a few genres. I mean, punk is still huge, and I think it kind of goes with the territory of like on the east side, because a lot of the kids that live in the east side can't afford to live on the west side, so all the starving artists are kind of like congregating in this community. So I think by nature, through their frustrations and their financial plight, they're making punk music, which is great, but there's a lot of stuff. There's everything. I mean, that's the thing, is because there is so many clubs and there's so much going on. You can find anything. You can find, if you want to see a jazz fusion band, you can find it. If you want to see a bubblegum pop band,
Any type of music. everyone's hoping to move there.
Yeah.
Right, and
Yeah,
that's the thing, is
lucky.
everyone moves there from so many different, like from all
To
over the
live the
country.
dream.
Everyone's going out there chasing that dream.
Yeah.
So it's like, but then by living there, you also reap the benefit because you're, you know, experiencing that process with so many other people and with so many other history and background. And, you know, like I mentioned, that's how we met our new bass player. He moved there from Paris recently because he was doing the same thing. He was a musician in Paris and he wanted to try out LA and see what the music scene was like out there. And
Wow.
ran into us and we were like, let's do this together, you know? And that's the thing that happens. You link arms with a lot of the people that you find in that situation, you know, and you make great friends and you start playing shows with other bands that are kind of doing the same thing. And that's how scenes start, you know, and that's a great thing.
So tell me a bit about the album with us. So that's coming out next month.
It's coming out, it's coming out on the 25th of March.
I was listening to it today actually.
Oh, cool. What'd you think?
I really liked it. It's quite eclectic. I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit the inspiration. There's so, I mean, all the titles for one I thought were quite entertaining and made me want to listen to the song. So tell me, do you have any favorite tracks on the album at all?
I mean, there are
I
all...
would never want to
Or any that were
single one
nightmare.
out. It's, I mean, I think the process of putting them in the right order for us was a big deal because they're all very different on their own. So we wanted to make sure that the ebb and flow of it was good and complemented the music. We were kind of struggling with that when we first were done recording everything because all the music on there is really different from each other. So we had to piece it together in a way that would make sense and flow properly throughout the whole
So how does the work process actually work? Where does the idea come from? How do you make it into the track?
Well, Adam kind of comes to us with the skeleton because he does all the demos and the writing, and then once he brings it to us, we build off of it and try to make it real. And then we got to take it into a really awesome studio because beforehand he was doing it all off his computer, using a drum machine, you know, and he would have like, you know, 100 drum tracks layered on each other to try to make it sound real. And we're like, you know, maybe we should just use some real drum sets. And we have a label now, so we can go record this for
Let's
real.
be crazy and do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, but yeah, it was.
So how long did it take to come up with all the tracks? Have you played?
Well, all
Well,
the tracks are from different parts
they're
in time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I mean, when we were first trying to figure out what the album was going to be, I mean, we had a list of like 30 songs that we were trying to pick out which ones we wanted to be the record, and it was, I don't know, those just seemed to be the ones that would marry the best. It felt like those were the tracks that complemented each other, that nothing was too far out of that spectrum that it would just be an outlier. It sounded really weird on the album, you know. It all kind of, it felt like there would be a good ebb and flow throughout the album with that track listing, and we actually did. I mean, we recorded more than that we left off the record because it just didn't fit with the flow. And that was the thing too, is, you know, with this album is, I know nowadays everybody well, not everybody, but a lot of people make a bunch of singles and they just smash them together on a record, and it doesn't matter because you're just going to go on iTunes and download the single anyway. So what does it matter?
It's called fillers.
Right, exactly. And so that was a very important conscious effort that we were making when recording the album. Is we weren't thinking about that. We were thinking about what's it going to be when somebody goes home, buys the vinyl, puts it on, and listens side A all the way through, side B all the way through. So I think we did it. I think it works.
So do you have any singles coming out in the UK?
I do. Yeah.
Could you tell me what?
Norman Bates.
Okay, so I saw the video for that actually,
Oh, cool.
and it's quite cool. But can you tell me a bit what it's about? Because what I think about is
about
yeah,
Norman
yeah.
Bates.
All I think about is yeah. But
We're fans of creepy things.
okay, go on. Just so tell me, did you start the music and then decide that it reminded you of Psycho, or how did that come
No, it
about?
was based off Psycho.
Yeah, no, it was.
He's a big fan.
I like Hitchcock a lot.
Yeah.
And Psycho is one of my favorite films of all time. So it yeah, it just seemed, fitting to make an ode to Hitchcock, and that song I thought was a good way to do it. And I mean, it's probably the most literal song on the record. There's not, I mean, maybe people will extrapolate other
Obviously
meanings out of it, which is great. That's what art's there for. But it is pretty much just literally the plight of Norman Bates having a schizophrenic meltdown and his dead mother screaming at him to kill this guest that he's in love with. So it's
hard.
It's a hard. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, exactly. You never know when you might go psycho.
You never know when that's going to happen.
So going back to the album, you just talked about this single. Is all the songs about influences that you've had in your life, or is there a storyline?
No, I think just like the music itself being kind of eclectic, the lyrical content is equally diverse. It's a lot of it's stream of conscious. Some of it's political, some of it's romantic, some of it's literal, some of it's abstract. It kind of, with a lot of these songs, the writing process is experimenting with a new way of writing, and that is the same thing with the lyrics, so it could be something that is literally just stream of consciousness spewing out words, and whatever sticks to the page that looks good, that's the song. And other times it's a lot more methodical, and I'll take years sometimes going back and tinkering and changing words and fixing them and reordering them until it works right and it gets like that cohesive thought across that I was trying to get.
I really enjoyed Audrey.
Audrey too.
Yeah, because it was so random. So is it about a girl named Audrey, or is...
It's actually about Little Shop of Horrors, the film.
Ah.
Audrey 2 is the name of the plant, the man-eating plant that Seymour, the main character, buys the plant, or doesn't buy it. It comes out of space, and he finds it, and but he names it Audrey 2 because it's the next best thing to Audrey 1, which is the girl he loves. So I thought it's a cute story. It's a great movie, and I thought it was a perfect title for that song. So.
Yeah, it's quite fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me about the plans in the future. Are you going to be back for touring, or?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of why we're here, because we want to try to lay down some good people to get us out here again and play some shows. There's 3 more of us, so hopefully we'll be able to all be out here the next time.
Right. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Cheers.